Live from the Slackers Sports Bar Studios, this is In the Building with Mike Taylor and Rudy J.
Well, many people thought that Texas had the easiest draw of all the teams.
They did.
The teams that had home games anyway today.
Penn State's draw, we'll get to that, but Penn State's draw seemed pretty easy as well.
Well, and let's see what happens next week between Penn State and Boise. But yeah, if it wasn't Penn State that had the easiest draw, it was certainly the 5-seeded Texas Longhorns who today did their part and whooped a good Clemson team that wasn't
good.
Even in
good
yeah,
is a stretch,
soft.
Mike.
Sure, they're
good is a stretch.
I mean, they're 10-4. They went 10-3, and they played well.
Whatever.
They've got good defense, and they've got a rising good young quarterback from Austin, Texas. They're a shit ton better than SMU, and they beat the hell out of Indiana. I think we could agree on that.
Hey, are you going to start this show, this UT postgame show, talking shit about SMU? Is that how we starting?
No, we're going to talk shit about the committee, about the idiot committee that has completely flubbed this whole setup here. We'll get to it. So the Longhorns,
we'll get to that. Let's talk Longhorns.
Yeah, sure. If Penn State does not have the easiest route, then Texas certainly does, and all the Longhorns can do is line up and show up and play who's there, and they thump a whether or not you think they're solid or not Clemson team that showed up today and played well. I thought Clemson played good. Now that's the same Clemson team that beat SMU last week. And Texas mauled them. 38-24 the final. It's the Texas Longhorn Postgame show presented by the law office of Orlando Kell. And the Longhorns, they do what they've done all year. Then they advance and they go play Arizona State, who the whole world is disrespecting, including me, who should not have gotten a bye. Absolute bullshit that Arizona State got a bye. And so these two will play on New Year's Day on a Wednesday night. So the Longhorns now get 10 days off to rest people. Arizona State's going to be 3.5 weeks between games by the time Texas plays them in Georgia, in Atlanta, at the Peach Bowl of all places.
I hate a
So
Wednesday night game. I get it, though.
Yeah, and we'll have post-game show when it's over. No, it's all good. We'll have post-game show. What's that?
Wednesday night. No, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Rudy, he's got a stack of lit kits behind him because he joins us live from the official liquor store In the Building, Texas Cheer Liquor. So you got somebody there with you? You don't have to get up and go run the register or nothing? Okay. Somebody comes in for a pack of smokes. You don't have to go take care of it? All right. Well,
we're not doing that. No,
cool.
Cool. No, AD's here, the owner's here,
Excellent.
And my buddy,
very good.
My buddy Brad. Once I told him, hey, man, I got about 30, 45 minutes of free advertising for you. He's like, I'll be there.
Can AD hear me? But perchance
no,
he can hear you.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude comes up to me in the HEB this week.
What happened?
And he says, tell your boy, Mr. Singh, we need a Texas Cheer Liquor in the 09. I'll be sure and tell him that. I think I said something like, I think we charge too much tax money, or we charge too much for rental property here in this. So anyway, so Rudy's at Texas Cheer. I'm at home. DJ LG's back in LG Studios, and you can tip us if you want to as we talk college football here for a little bit. 20 minutes out from the next game, which is Tennessee and Ohio State. Somehow that's a matchup. Two of the elite, probably the two of the best 6-7 teams in the country because of the dumbass bracket. They're going to play a first-round game tonight while fucking Indiana, SMU's in the playoffs. Well, while Arizona State and effing Boise get home games in a bye, Ohio State and Tennessee play each other in a first-round matchup. Explain that logic to me, how Tennessee and Ohio State play on the wild card and fucking Boise gets a bye. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Or SMU and Indiana are in. It's insane. Again,
man.
We're here for the Horns.
Well, it's fine.
What did you think? What did you think of your boy Ewers? You've been hard on Ewers for 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
over a month now. Over a month you've been hard on Ewers. What'd you think?
Well, they didn't need him to win the game. They needed him to be solid and run the show and make good passes when called upon, and let a badass running game and a badass offensive line that took another big injury tonight. But they just throw 5 stars off the bench, because they're Texas. He Trent Dilfer his way, and when you don't have to be anybody but Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson, then that takes all the pressure off you, and that's what he did. His job is to be Trent Dilfer and or Brad Johnson. Is that a shot at him? I don't care, but that's the facts. They don't need him to go out there and be Michael Vick, who, by the way, is the new head coach at Norfolk State. You see that? That's
random as shit.
He's from Virginia. That's all I got.
I'm happy.
I didn't even know he wanted to be
from there.
Yeah, I didn't know he wanted to be
for him.
Yeah,
no, me either.
Random, very random. But anyway,
the run game was down.
Correct. If I need Quinn Ewers to be Michael Vick at Florida State, or if I need Quinn Ewers to be Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama, it's not going to happen. It's just not. And y'all can get pissed at me all you want. A lot of y'all did last week. It's not going to happen. But if all he needs to do is go out there and be Trent Dilfer, that don't mean you can't. That don't mean you don't make good passes. That does not mean that you don't have to play well. And he played well. I'm trying to give him some flowers tonight because they won this game tonight, Rudy. How they've won all their games with awesome defense, which is probably the best in the country. Steady quarterback play, which is what Quinn was tonight, and an electric running game that has 3 guys on it that'll play in the league. And that's how they won.
3? You think all 3?
Well, I think Jarrett Gibson is all. He's the next stud they have. Once Blue and Weisner are gone, Jarrett Gibson, who former Cowboy Tashard Choice, is the running backs coach. What a great job!
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Great job.
Great point.
Gibson, he says, is the next big stud. He calls him Baby Rhino. And tonight with Weisner, I don't know what happened to Weisner. I guess maybe he had a strained hammy or something because he was on the exercise.
But he was balling. He was balling.
Yeah, and then he had to leave. And so they went to Jaden Blue, who promptly does a 74-yard house call. And then they lean on Gibson when they have to kill the clock in the fourth quarter, and he was terrific. But that's what they do, man. They have an elite running game. They have an elite defense. They have a very good quarterback. And they maul an inferior team tonight at home in the first ever playoff game in the history of Austin, Texas. They get 500 yards of offense. They have over 300 yards of that running. And when you're doing that, you don't have to be Peyton Manning if you're Quinn Ewers. You just have to be a solid guy, But go be Baker Mayfield for me, and we'll be okay, But anything beyond that, then we're asking for trouble. But tonight, thankfully, they didn't have to lean on Quinn Ewers.
When I look at this bracket,
yes, sir,
and we talked about this yesterday, and real quick, Mike, not to bog us down, Big Al, $5.
Oh yeah,
I won't read it all. Hey,
we got two donations so far.
Okay, shout out to Smithson Valley. They won the
Nice.
5A
Very
state
nice.
championship. So shout out to the Smithson Valley.
They beat Dallas Highland Park.
Yeah, they did. But when I look at this bracket, Mike, the only team that scares me is the team that, if I'm a UT fan, if I'm Sark, is the team that beat us twice, and those Georgia Bulldogs, and I wouldn't have to see them until the finals.
Right. I mean, I watched a bunch of Penn State SMU, a bunch last night.
Right.
And I've not, of these first 2 games last night, I mean, can Notre Dame beat Texas? Yes. But do I think Texas should beat Notre Dame? Yes.
Notre Dame, no,
they're good.
They're
better than Clemson.
Y'all know I keep it real with Texas. I don't kiss their ass. Neither do you. Neither do you.
Sure. They should beat Penn State too.
Yeah, the only team that can beat Texas, and I'm trying to be nice and unbiased, is Oregon or Georgia. And I only say that about Oregon because, again, I don't know if Oregon is real or not because the Big Ten's starting to look weird to me. But Oregon can put up points, and it could end up being a shootout, and who knows what happens in the shootout. So I'm only saying Oregon and Georgia. But the only team that scares me is Georgia. Oregon doesn't scare me if I'm Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas would smash Penn State. Penn State does not have the offense to hang with Texas. I think Notre Dame would give the Longhorns a game, but I'd still favor UT by a touchdown. Texas is sitting pretty good here, man. Sitting real good. You can donate to us by jumping into the super chat, and you can also jump onto the buy me a coffee link and buy us a coffee. It's buymeacoffee.com/loveyouhardtv. LG will put the links. Rosie Valadez, $5. Hook'em Rudy, I plan on buying the bourbon you have been posting on the show. Now I need to go get a good cigar to go with it. What's a good cigar to post with that 1792 you've been talking about?
Ooh, that 1792, a lot of
Mhm.
different cigars. You got medium. There's a bunch of cigars I could give you to post with that.
Okay, very good. All right, yeah, lots. Anything decent at 1792. I look forward to trying it
Yeah, you
Monday.
could give like I'll probably my father, the judge, or
Mm-hmm.
my father La
Okay,
Opalencia, Finks 1893. A bunch of different cigars we can go with.
nice. Well, come smoke
Yeah,
one with Rudy tomorrow out front of Slackers. We will be. We'll have a. We're having a kettle drive tomorrow. I wanted to promote that before we get out of here tonight.
let's do
At
it.
Slackers on Thousand Oaks. 281 Thousand Oaks is one of the 5 Slackers locations, and that's where Rudy and I will be. Hopefully, LG, if he's up to par physically, we'll be there from 5 to 7 tomorrow night drinking beer. We're not going to do any shows. We're just going to hang out, and I'm going to have my kettle for the Salvation Army. We're going to do a kettle drive right before the Dallas Cowboy Clickbaits take on the aforementioned Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay tomorrow night. It's Slackers on Thousand Oaks, so y'all come hang out. Clemson had a chance to win the game. I thought the kid from
You
Austin,
know,
Klubnik, played well, but they just didn't have enough firepower at the end.
that's
And I questioned the play calling, by the way, by Garrett Riley, who I forgot was the offensive coordinator with Clemson.
well,
USC coach's little brother is the
I forgot
OC.
about that.
Yeah, Garrett Riley is there.
What I thought was the thing that I liked about UT. Um, they had blown the game open, and then
Mm-hmm.
Clemson closes the gap, and then it's 31-24.
Yep.
And the thing about it is that's when I want to see what type of team you are, especially when we're talking about a playoff. Boom. They go and respond, score a touchdown, stretch it back to 14. To me, I mean, there's a lot of different plays that we could point to, a lot of different series we can point to. But when everything settles down, everything bogs down, and both teams are kind of locked in, and Clemson is rolling, and that momentum has now swung to Clemson's side.
Mm-hmm.
How does the Texas offense respond? And they responded with a great drive and a touchdown to stretch that to 38-24. That to me, I like seeing that type of stuff. Like anybody can, get up on the team and blow them out, but I like the response.
Yeah, and then the defense steps up because Clemson then
Right.
takes the ball right down the field, but the defense stands
How
up
about that?
inside the
Yeah.
5.
That goal line stance was huge.
That was
huge.
great. That was great because
I was like, oh, here we
Clemson
go.
still had time if they scored a touchdown there, which is why I'm
Right.
pissed. I think Garrett Riley, if I'm a Clemson fan, I'm pissed at him. We're just going to load right 2 times in a row and just run right into their hands, literally. When they should have been play action passing with Klubnik throwing to the corner, but I don't call the plays. Garrett Riley does, and he's a loser. 38-24. The Longhorns beat Clemson tonight. It is the Longhorn Postgame Show presented by the Law Office of Orlando Kell, the official family lawyer. If you are in need of a lawyer, a family lawyer, Orlando Kell's the guy that you should call. He's our guy. He should be yours too. I'm not just a spokesman. I'm a client. I have used Orlando's services on 2 different occasions this year. Twice. Yeah. I'm a repeat customer to Orlando Kell. If you need a family lawyer, he is our guy. 210-775-4995. You can email him directly, orlandokell.law@gmail.com.
Could you see
Yes,
a situation where Quinn sends out, they start telling him lower rounds than he thought, and him reading the room and understanding that after this season it's going to be Arch's team and Quinn hitting the portal again? Could you see that situation, or you feel like he's going to the NFL, it's a wrap? No matter what his draft grade is. Because I'm starting to think, like, the more I look at him, I'm like, damn, I don't like what I'm seeing. Could he possibly go too far down and then hit the portal?
He is not an NFL starting quarterback. He's got an NFL arm. He has what it takes to be a backup. He has what it takes to beat Colt McCoy for sure. He's got more talent than Colt McCoy, by the way. He's got a better arm. If I'm an NFL scout, I ain't telling my team to draft him. And so if I'm him, I strongly consider. I mean, he's got millions of dollars in his banking account. It's a whole new way of thinking now that these kids all get paid. If I'm him, I strongly consider going to play quarterback at so-and-so state next year. And if he comes back to Austin, Sark's going to have to run him off. Hey, man, we love you, but you need to get into the portal. You need to go to you're not starting next year. If Quinn did stubbornly return, how crazy would it be is after 2.5 years of being the starter, he stays in school, but he loses his starting job. He needs to either go to the league,
I
take his
just know,
chances in the draft,
after this year, after this year, they're giving the job to Arch. So I just wonder, like, if you're Quinn, do you say, all right, I've made enough money?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I could see, and I know someone in the chat said, I could see a North Carolina, Oregon. I could see somebody giving them another $1 million or $2 million.
Sure.
And I'd stay.
Sure.
I'd stay if I was him, but I just
be a
feel
college
like
student making $1 million.
But if I'm one of the 32 NFL teams, I can't see myself using a high draft pick on him. So I could see him staying and going to another school.
Same. His options are go become an undrafted free agent, get picked up in the 6th round, or be Brock Purdy and get drafted in the 7th round, transfer to another school, or be a backup your senior year at Texas. He ain't doing that. He would transfer, go to the league. But I could see him going to another school, Oregon.
But I mean, he might end up winning the Natty.
I know.
He might end up winning the Natty
and still have a transfer.
Is he better than J.J. McCarthy? Because J.J. McCarthy won a Natty.
It's a great question.
Gets drafted high by the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously ended up hurt, but is he better than J.J. McCarthy?
No. I think he is at least as talented as J.J., if not has. I think he has more arm talent, but I don't think he has what J.J. McCarthy has when it comes to taking games over. J.J.'s a tough kid. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen next year when he comes back from injury. I no idea what the Vikings are going to do. They're 11-2 or some shit like that with Sam Darnold. Yeah. I don't think he's better than JJ. I trust JJ McCarthy running my team more than I trust Quinn. I don't trust Quinn Ewers, Rudy. I just don't think he's got that it factor. He does not have that it thing. JJ makes up for lack of arm talent with his it. He's got a lot of Colt McCoy in him. I don't know if I want J.J. McCarthy as my starting quarterback if I'm in an NFL team. I don't know. I know I don't want Quinn Ewers. I know I don't want. I hate that shit all over Quinn Ewers, but it is what it is. I mean, this poor guy. He's 11-2. He went to the SEC championship. He's beaten Oklahoma twice. He's beaten Alabama on the road. He's won at Michigan, and we can't wait to get rid of his ass. That's his. He's in the second round of the playoffs. He threw for 240 yards tonight in the playoff game, and it was flawless, except for the one shitty. That pick was bad luck. And we were sitting here dogpiling on the guy. I can't wait for him to leave. And I maintain I still wish Arch would have gotten more playing time tonight. Arch barely played. He had a couple of dumbass little run plays, bobbled a snap. Kid's cold.
Yeah.
I just wish he'd have played a little more in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Like I said last week, I wish Arch hadn't thrown a pass in a month and a half in a game. And that worries me. That worries me for next week if Quinn starts struggling or the defense struggles and this turns into a shootout. I don't trust Quinn Ewers in a shootout. I just don't.
I'm not a part of the coaching staff, so I can say this. I'm looking so past Arizona State. Like
they won't.
I know
what you mean.
Look, no, they can't. Like Sark has to say, "Hey, proper fear. Look at what this team did. They can highlight some of our weaknesses." They're gonna dog walk. They're gonna dog walk Arizona State. Arizona State sucks, and I guess we could transition into this. Indiana, Clemson, SMU. We're only a few games into this first week of the 12-team playoff, Mike, but you and I were texting. This don't look look like they got it right.
Man, this game was competitive, this game here tonight, because Clemson played well. Well, it was fairly competitive. At no point did I
But
think
you
Texas
never.
was going to
Yeah,
lose.
that's all I'm saying. I never
Yeah.
thought Texas was going to lose.
It was competitive, but I was never worried that this would be our last post-game show. But this game, this Texas Clemson game, it saved the committee a little bit. Well, it saved them from complete fucking disaster. Because had Texas beaten Clemson like 48-7, they would have egg in both faces, egg in both eyes. As it stands, they already have egg in one eye. There is no way that SMU should have been in the playoff. There's no civil, decent, non-crazy, realistic human being that watches college football that tells you SMU's better than Alabama. SMU's better than Ole Miss. That's bullshit. And Indiana, the one time they play a good team, they got smoked by Ohio State. They embarrassed themselves last night in South Bend, Indiana. Boise has a bye. Come on. You want to put
Arizona
Boise in your
State?
playoff?
Arizona
Fine.
State has a bye.
Yeah, so you don't. So this again, and you and I have talked about this a lot. I'm just ass whipped by this dumb. There's no reason that they should like reward these conference champions. If Boise is not one of the 4 best teams in the country, they should not get a fucking bye. They're rewarding them for winning the big shit conference out in Big Sky country. It's bullshit. Boise should not have gotten a bye. It's horseshit.
No.
And I hope that Penn State whips their ass next week. I hope they whip their ass. The committee the committee looks horrible. Well, I don't know why we have to have these conference champions in. It's dumb. I don't know. I don't understand. Just rank everybody 1 through 12. Who gives a shit what conference they're in? Who gives a shit if they won their conference or not? Indiana did not need to be in that playoff. SMU finishes 4th or 5th, maybe even 6th in the Big Ten. SMU is they're in 9th in the SEC. SMU maybe they're 7th in the SEC. Maybe SMU's 4th in the Big Ten, and they're in a top 12 playoff bracket. Get the fuck out of here, man. The committee's ridiculous.
You wouldn't take SMU or Indiana over the Hurricanes.
No way. The U is better than SMU. No way. I think the U is better than they are. And I love the U. It goes back to my childhood, but no, SMU got their ass exposed last week when Clemson went out to a 31-3 lead on them. Clemson laid down. SMU took advantage of their flaws and came back still to lose the game. That's the other thing. SMU didn't even win last week. So SMU, and by the way, and I did a segment on them yesterday.
We're rooting for them. I was rooting for them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we didn't show up. They got their booty holes puckered up in a playoff game. They got their ass exposed. And so they wound up losing the last 2 games of the season. SMU played 2 good teams all year, and they lost both of them. But it's a playoff team? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. The U screwed up by losing at Syracuse. But so what? Your eyes still told you the U's got more talent. They're better than SMU.
Yeah.
And Indiana. But pisses me. I'm pissed off.
Bringing it full circle, Mike.
Yes, sir.
This is probably, I'm talking about when I go through guys. Okay, so there's 22 starters. Let's say guys 1 through 30.
Yeah.
I'll give you 4 guys off the bench on offense, 4 guys off the bench on defense. This is the most talented I've seen Texas in a long time.
Long time.
1 through 30. Because again, I've seen them win with defense. I've seen them win with this offense. I've seen them win with the running game. I've seen them win in the passing game. I've seen Sark coach his way out of a couple of games. This is the first Swiss Army knife Texas team that I've seen. And like Mac Brown to me had some Swiss Army teams. Now toward the end, Mac wasn't coaching them up, but Mac had those guys like, 2, 3 deep. This is the most talented I've seen UT and able to beat you multiple ways in a very long time. And Arizona State and a lot of other teams should be scared.
This kid Gooseby, the freshman tackle, he comes off the bench last week when the left tackle Banks, who's a first-round pick, and did a real good job. for 2 weeks in a row. Did a great job at A&M. Played solid in the Georgia game. He had a hell of an assignment. And then tonight, the right tackle goes down for UT. Gooseby runs and plays right tackle and did a great job. They have NFL talented players coming off their bench. How talented are you when we're doing a post-game show and every week it's about how much we hate the first-round talented quarterback and can't wait to get rid of his ass?
Right.
It is by far the most talented team they've had since Vince Young. It's incredible how good they are. They may have 3 kids get drafted in the first round. They probably have 4 or 5 go on day one. They're just unbelievably talented, and more coming. And the most talented quarterback they have don't even start or play. So it's unbelievable. They're going to be good for a good hot minute. I said this about SMU too, and I said, as I said yesterday, SMU has backing that everybody would like to have. They have 4 or 5 billionaires that are fronting their NIL collectives at SMU. SMU is not going anywhere. They're going to be good and solid and compete for playoff spots for years to come because of the money they have. But this particular team I'm talking about here, because I did a segment yesterday on, hey, SMU's here to stay. They are, but this particular team was not one of the 12 best teams in college football, and that's been proven out. Indiana was not one of the 12 best teams in college football. That's been proven out. Clemson probably was not one of the top 12 teams in college football. That got proven out. The other thing that I hate about the committee, it's fine you want to have a playoff. That's fine. But the bracket's dumb too. You give a bye to teams from lesser conferences. And so that has set up this bullshit scenario where Oregon, the number 1 overall seed, has a hell of a challenge. They play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. They don't get to play fucking Indiana or SMU or Clemson or Arizona State.
Texas on a better side of the bracket than Oregon.
Right.
And they
the Longhorns got the best draw. They're the 5 seed. You gave the 5 seed the easiest path to the Natty. That's got to stop. That's got to be ended. In the offseason, they will announce. I could even see them doing like the NHL does in hockey, where they reseed after the first round. I could see that. Too. Just pick the top 12 teams in the country and have a goddamn tournament and throw this conference bullshit out the window. Just because you win some shit-ass conference does not mean you deserve something. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. Let's get rid of the conference thing. Let's do the bracket better. And I think that they will. What we ultimately need, we're still some time away from this, and you, I think, agree, is we need a united college football league with a commissioner.
Well, there's a lot of change needs to happen, and that's another thing. If y'all missed the show yesterday, Mike and I both agreed that we have to figure out the portal in the sense of we move it back along with moving back spring, so that needs to change. As far as this conference crap, that needs to change. So we're figuring our way through this thing, but while we appreciate where college is, and I think it's the most exciting of the major sports right now, including the NFL, they need some work too.
Right. No question. So good night for the Longhorns. LG's talking about Saki with Mr. Sig.
I don't know where AD's at. He was in the chat, but I got to ask him that, LG. That's a good question.
Y'all got a Nigori Saki that's actually imported from Japan, not some California bullshit. Tell
LG,
us about
how do I know the
Nigori
difference?
Saki. Yeah, how do I
look at the label and see where it's made?
But tell me about the flavor of Nigori Saki. Cold?
Nigori is unfiltered. It'll be cloudy looking, not clear.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now we're talking. I like that. Ever had G Yamagata Dewazakura Daiginjo Mountain Cherry?
No.
What did you call it?
Okay. KD, what did you call me, LG?
It's sin, motherfucker.
He just asked if you had the real sake, bro. The real sake.
Right. The cloudy kind. Looks like
AD you know what AD needs to do? Can a liquor store pick up an NIL deal? No, right?
What do you mean? Can a liquor store pay a kid?
Can Texas Share Liquor pay an NIL deal?
Absolutely. AD could be. Hey, what's up, man? AD could be fronting money right now to Quinn Ewers if he wanted to. I don't think there's any problem with that. That's a good question. Like, so some of these collectives have like moral clauses, like
I don't think so.
you can't do it. You can't promote vibrators
Well, if the
or
kid
something
is
like that.
22,
Mhm.
22, can Hennessy sign him?
That's a good question. Yeah, I know. Right? Well, I guess a 19-year-old can't take a Hennessy deal.
No.
Huh.
No.
It's a good question. I'll be interested
Anyway.
before we get out of here. I'll be interested to see the ratings on Monday. These
For
playoff
which
games all
game?
day had been up against the NFL all day. Did you remember there's an NFL doubleheader? Did you remember that?
I forgot. I'm not
I
gonna
did
sit here and
too.
lie to you.
I forgot there were. I forgot. There's NFL games
And I'm
today.
happy I forgot.
For some dumbass reason, the NFL and college football scheduled playoff games in the Kansas City Chiefs. So Kansas City beat the Texans earlier, and the only reason I remember they were playing is because people I follow in Houston on Twitter were tweeting about the game while the first game this morning was on. Oh my God! I'm like, wait, the Chiefs are playing? I forgot about that. The
Did you
Steelers
see
and
how that
Ravens are
game
playing
went
right
though?
now. The Chiefs game? No, I
They
hear the
were up,
referees are Team Kansas City though. Still,
but they were up big. It seemed like
Mhm.
the Deshaun Watson game all over again from a couple years ago in the playoff run when
Yeah.
Kansas City won their first title, and then the Texans had their all-world receiver get carted off, and C.J. Stroud was crying, and it just came undone. Like again, I forgot until I started watching the college games on my phone, and then the NFL. I started getting alerts.
Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, did you? Oh, people want to know. Did you turn the chime off on the door? I don't think you did. I heard it a couple of times. The
You've only
cling.
heard it a couple times. It's went off probably 30.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
When someone's coming in and out, I just been muting it.
Oh, that's funny. It don't bother me. You're at a store. That's what happens.
No. I was the one though. You've heard a couple, but for the most part, I've been muting it.
All right. I am looking forward to the ratings, because it's Ravens, Steelers, and Chiefs, Texans up against college playoff games. I bet you the college playoff games have more. Well, I see. I don't want to question that monster that is the NFL.
I don't
This
know
will be
because
interesting. I forgot all about the NFL, man.
With Prize Picks and FanDuel, NFL probably still won.
Yeah, probably so. Bernard says alcohol brands can partner with NIL collectives instead of individual athletes to get around restrictions on working with athletes. Oh, just partner with the NIL itself. And that's up to the NIL. They're going to have to make that determination as to whether or not that's a bad look. But yeah, I think Bernard's right. There's nothing legally or binding that won't allow an NIL to pick up a deal with Modelo or whatever, Anheuser-Busch or something like that. All right, speaking of booze, y'all go see Rudy. He's working tonight at Texas Cheer Liquor. What are you at, number one? Store number one? Look up number one. He's closing tonight. I'm going to go get bed and watch movies. Tomorrow, we're going to be at Slackers, Thousand Oaks. 281 and Thousand Oaks. Hopefully, LG can come out. We can put some good content out there on our channel. But me and Rudy are going to be hanging out, not doing a show. I'm not opposed to doing some 5-minute cut-ins here and there just for funsies if we can think of a good bit. But the primary reason is to get ready for Cowboys and Bucks. But the other primary reason is to raise money for the kiddies. In this town, we have so many kids that do not even have a place to live, much less eat. And that's what we do with Red Kettle season every year. I'm going to have my Red Kettle. Good on the Salvation Army. They have no problem with me toting their kettle out to a beer joint. See, good for them. It's all about them kids. And NIL, so NIL shouldn't worry about using an alcoholic company or whatever, beer joint, whatever. So tomorrow night, we'll be at Slackers, Thousand Oaks, at 5 o'clock. We'll be there at least till 7 o'clock and have some fun, get ready for the NFL, and raise some money for the kids of Salvation Army. All right, sir. Quick and easy.
Easy and quick.
Yeah. So our next post game will actually be on a Wednesday night. Maybe we just combine it, make it an in the building or something like that. Late night in the building, something like that. All right, New Year's Day. So we're working, right? New Year's Day, New Year's night rather.
Let's talk about that.
That's the next Longhorn game, sir.
A Mike Taylor production.
Oh, LG's already backed out.
Already booked.
Oh,
Been
that's
booked
right.
for
He
months.
got UTSA that night.
Oh my God! Because that's what you want to do on the first day of the year is go watch girl ball.
So actually, January 1.
Yes. See, y'all,
Oh, well,
y'all can go out New Year's Eve.
No, liquor
Get
stores
the rest the
closed.
next day.
Liquor stores closed on January 1.
All right, well, there you
So
go.
I could come to you.
Just come to me. All right, we can go wherever. I have the ability now. I know what I'm doing, mostly. We're done. Love y'all heart. See y'all tomorrow at Slackers. Y'all get your asses out there. It's going to be a good time. Later.
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.